Today, we're going to be taking a dive into the issues that have been coming up lately in our group coaching program. Some of the conversations that we've been having, and things that I think the wider buy a business search audience might find interesting, as well as a ton of new things going on here that I want to let you know about. So stay tuned. I'll be right back.
I'm David C. Barnett, and you're tuned in to Small Business and Deal Making, the podcast, YouTube channel, and blog where I talk about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium-sized businesses while controlling risk. So if you're looking to take control of your future through buying a business one day, or if you already own a business and you're looking to grow or exit, you've come to the right place. I talk about interesting things, I talk to interesting people, and I answer your questions every week right here. So be sure to hit like and be sure to hit subscribe, and let's get to it. Are you thinking of growing your business or beginning a journey into entrepreneurship? Take a shortcut to success by buying an existing and profitable business the right way. Visit businessbuyeradvantage.com and learn more about my online training, group coaching, and consulting services designed to help you win.
Hey, everyone. So it is the fall of 2025. We're quickly headed towards the Christmas holiday season. And I've got a slew of updates here to talk to everyone about. First of all, Holiday Chat 2025 is now open and we are reserving call slots. For those of you who do not know, Holiday Chat is a special where I offer one-on-one consulting calls with people who want to talk about any aspect of business, whether it's buying, selling, operating, etc. The catch is, and it's a huge discount. It's like 80% off the regular price. But the catch is that the calls are recorded and they will be released publicly. And I started this back in 2017, if you can believe it. And I started making these recordings so that I could take a break between Christmas and New Year's, and basically, my daily emails that I send out every day during that period of time, it's simply the release of another one of these calls so that people over the holidays get access to these. Basically, they're consulting calls. You could call them a case study, really, because they're like real people in real situations. And I announced the opening of this at the beginning of October to the people on my email list. And so if you're not on my email list, I'll put the QR code up here in the corner, or you can just go over to davidcbarnettlist.com. This is where you sign up. Being on my email list has a lot of advantages to it. Everything I ever do that is special, different, or unique, or whatnot, always goes to the email list first, including things like holiday chat. So about half the spots have already been taken by people who are on the email list. I will put in the description down below, in the show notes, a link to where you can sign up. And basically, there's typically 12 spots available. Last year, we did the buying versus starting a small business launch chats, which were kind of the same thing as holiday chat. And they're all together on a playlist, by the way. So if you want to hear some of these calls, either go over to SoundCloud or you can look them up by searching, I guess, on any of the other podcast apps. But here on YouTube, if you go looking at the playlists for this channel, you'll find a holiday chat playlist. There's two of them that I wanted to highlight from last year that I find have very important lessons in them. The 2024 holiday chat number 3, Sophia buys the bridal salon, is an important one because I talk about how the owner of the business that was in question, that Sophia was looking at buying, did not understand the concept of inventory. Neither did their accountant, and so it led to an incredible mispricing or misrepresentation of the business that was being sold, because they confused what essentially are marketing or sales materials for inventory. And so, if you are looking at buying a business that is inventory intensive, in particular, where you've got some kind of seasonality or limited use of or limited, I guess, continuity of the product. And that was the problem here with the bridal industry, was that dresses like are this year's fashion, for example, and then after a period of time, they're no longer available. And so that's what the problem led to. Another great one was 2024 HC002, which is they're all coded this way if you want to look them up. But this is the number 2 one from last year. the big landscaping business loses its biggest client. So this one was actually fantastic because it was the third year in a row that the owner of a landscaping business called in. And each year we've dealt with different aspects of what's going on. And it's funny because in the first year it was a cash flow crisis. In the second year, it was a desire to take their newfound cash balances and grow aggressively. And I advised them to hold off and to build their balance sheet. And then here in 2024, they called in again to say that they were losing their biggest customer. And boy, oh boy, were they so happy that they were actually in a stronger financial position because they did not extend themselves further. So there's big lessons to be learned in these calls. I would highly recommend that people check them out. If you want to book one, go down into the description and you'll find the link. And hurry because they typically sell out every year. So, and then the next item on my list, of course, is like join the email list. Like if you're not on my email list, you should be joining my email list. You have the choice of several different categories of interest. So you can opt into the emails that interest you. Some people just get an email on Wednesdays with the new video that comes out, like whatever you're interested in. But I would recommend that you get on the list. The Business Fortress. So my new book that came out earlier this year, co-authored with Mark Willis, The Business Fortress. Let me just put this card up here. Has just been made available as an audiobook. And so it's now available from Amazon. You can go to dcbbooklist.com, which is the link to my Amazon bookstore, which is the easiest way I've ever found to keep a list of all the books that I would recommend that people read. And so you're not going to find, you know, celebrity CEO books on that book list. You're going to find books that actually have actionable advice for people in the small business space. And Business Fortress now available as an audiobook. So that's the latest update. Um, I am going to be in Austin, Texas, and Vancouver, BC in January. And so we're doing a pilot project for some live in person mastermind sessions. We're calling it the Business Buyer Boardroom. And if you go to businessbuyerboardroom.com, it's going to link to a page we've created on the blog site where you can sign up. It'll give a rundown of what we expect to do during the day and, registration link and all that kind of stuff. Um, what we're trying to gauge is if there's interest from people in this kind of event. So if you are in Texas or BC or maybe just across the border in Washington State or something, and you think you would be interested in coming out and doing a live day with me, where it would basically, we're going to be covering some content that will be dictated by the attendees. So there's pre-work that you do with a GPT that I programmed that will help set the table of what you're looking for in the day. So there's going to be some learning in the morning. Then we're going to have mastermind hot seat sessions, and everyone's going to be able to help learn from everyone else and help each other maybe gain some insights and develop their strategy further for their search plan. So that's something coming up in January. Again, businessbuyerboardroom.com. Link will be down in the show notes as well. Black Friday is coming up. Uh, so this is so yeah, there's going to be some Black Friday specials like I do every year. And again, people on the email list are the ones who are going to get those. So over to davidcbarnettlist.com. And I always get asked the same questions. Will Business Buyer Advantage be offered on a Black Friday deal? And yes, it's not going to be discounted like tremendously. It's going to be part of a bundle package that will have some savings attached to it. As well, there's going to be an offer on the group coaching program. And there's also going to be an offer on the brand new Exit Ready program. So this is the other big thing that I've just kicked off is if you go to howtosellmyownbusiness.com, this is the website which is for business owners who want help one day eventually to exit their business. And there has always been an online course there, but the online program has always been around specifically selling your business. And so what I've been working on since the relaunch of Business Buyer Advantage back in the spring, what I've been working on is completely revamping the online program for business owners who want to exit one day. And so now it's called Exit Ready. an owner's guide to a timely and profitable exit. And it is no longer just about selling your business in the sale process. It's now about the entire exit planning process, from figuring out what your retirement needs are going to be, how you're going to finance your retirement. Is there going to be a gap there that has to be covered through the sale of your business? And then there's many tools there about that will help you through the fine points of figuring out if your business is sellable, what potentially your business could be worth, how you would normalize your financial statements. There's also tools in there that will help. It gathers your opinion and you score yourself, and the different points will lead you towards the different exit paths or exit strategies that are probably going to be most applicable to your particular scenario. And then, like, we get really deep into it. And then once you've decided on your scenario, for example, there's tools there about, there's actually an agenda document for, and in each exit strategy, it talks about all of your different advisors and gives you a list of all the topics you need to cover with that advisor. So it's like literally meeting agendas. And then, if you do decide to sell your business, for example, there's tools there for analyzing offers. There's tools there for risk mitigation. So if a particular offer has, a certain aspect to it that you find concerning, or you are worried about it, you can look in the contingency planning and risk management tool that we built, and you can find your aspect, and then it'll give strategies on how you could better manage that risk if that's what you're worried about. There is an entire 20-minute video that gives an overview of what's in this new program called Exit Ready. And if you go over to howtosellmyownbusiness.com, it's right at the bottom of the first stage, the training. That basically, it talks about free tools and it talks about this online course. So you can go over there and check it out. So those are all my items. So let's hop into the aspects that have come up in the Business Buyer Advantage group coaching program. So, now that we have the world of AI, right? It's very easy for me to take the transcripts of all of our calls and put them into a big GPT. The members of the group have been using this now for a couple months since we launched it back around Labor Day, where they can now ask questions of the GPT and it will search all the way back to 2018, all the transcripts of all the calls, and it will bring up, here's all the instances where this topic was discussed, and here's what was said about it, and here's where you can go listen, right? So that was the whole idea, was to create sort of a librarian or an index robot for the group. And so now that that's been built, I can easily go in and ask it questions about, specific timeframes or whatnot. So let me tell you about some of the recent conversations that have been going on in the group. So the first one is equity deals and seller skin in the game. So we've had several discussions over the last little while about using the concept of rollover equity. So making an offer to a seller where they continue to be an owner. So part of what you are paying them as the seller is you're giving them an ownership stake in your new business if it's an asset deal, right? If it's a share deal, it means you're not acquiring 100% of the shares, you're acquiring some fraction of that. And so people have talked about, uh, is this a good idea? But furthermore, there have been discussions on how you make sure that the seller remains engaged, because the whole reason why you do this kind of thing is to keep the person who knows the business better than anyone else engaged in the operation and activities of the business to help you. It's like, we talk all the time about transition periods where sellers teach buyers how to run their business. When you have some kind of rollover equity scenario, what you want is it's an even deeper, further uh, sort of combining of interest than a transition. Is literally you're becoming partners with them. Basically, you're both going to own this business together, with the idea often being for the seller that they will help grow the business beyond even where it is today, and they'll be able maybe to scale back on their hours, kind of get into that semi-retirement groove where they are really just being helpful with strategic sort of inputs, and helping to coach and guide you with a real vested interest in making sure you're successful. Um, but some of the conversations have been about, how do you make sure that they actually do what they're supposed to do, right? And how do you approach this in the negotiations, and to what degree do we want to put this into the deals or the contracts, et cetera? Um, Buyers are more are plan, and so this ties closely in together with point number two here, which is that buyers are planning more deliberate transitions with phased handovers or paid consulting periods, and um, you know, documenting of responsibilities, which I touched on here a minute ago. Um, Off-market owner outreach tactics, again, is always a constant conversational topic in that group. But we've had a bunch of people talk specifically about their results. So we've had people actually talk about the number of letters that they're mailing out, the number of appointments that came from those letters, the number of phone calls, email threads, etc. And in one case, a person who had sent out 108 letters led to 2 LOIs over a 60-day period. So that was fantastic. Valuation pushback and anchoring techniques. So we're continuing to see sellers thinking that 2021 era pricing is still apropos. And for those of you who don't know, that's when money was super cheap because of the COVID recovery era. It was really low interest rates, and that did tend to push up the pricing of some kinds of businesses in some categories, and people are still asking for those same prices, even though uh, the deals don't cash flow at those prices, right? So we do a lot of conversations around anchoring around the concept of bankability. So this is a thing that we talk about all the time, where the conversation with the seller is is always, well, I can see that your business may be worth this because of how well it's been doing, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But let's try to think about what the bank is going to think, right? And it's that because the buyer is never the sole decision maker. And this is one of the things I think sellers fail to realize much is that, they think that they're dealing with somebody, I'll find someone who wants to buy my business and they'll have to figure out how to get the money. Well, ask a car dealer if that's how they approach selling cars. It's not. The way car dealers approach selling cars is they say, we know nobody has all the money. So we better figure out the financing opportunities for the people, and we'll have all of that stuff here in the business office. So if you've ever been into a car dealership, they'll tell you all the different financing options that are available because they understand that that's a key element in selling the car. The people don't have 50 grand in a bank account to write a check. And, it's also a profit center for them because they're able to make money off of arranging the financing. Business sellers don't make money off of arranging financing with lenders. They do make money off of arranging their own financing, which is seller financing, which is one of the things that people often lean upon. Like, oh, if you want to get that really high price, then you're going to have to be a part of the financing solution. And which leads me to the sort of the granddaddy tools of bridging valuation gaps, which is earnouts and revenue based seller notes, which we're seeing increasingly. In fact, this morning, a member of the group sent me an LOI that he's about to submit to somebody, and asking me just to give it a quick eyeball review. And that was a function of it, was that there was an offer at a certain price. There were two different seller notes, and one of them was tied to revenue. So if a certain revenue target wasn't hit in the first 12 months after handover, then that note was completely forgiven. And there was a second level target where if the business exceeded that second level in the 3 years after the sale, then the seller would get a little taste of the revenue above that. So that would be an earnout, an additional bonus. Okay. So those kinds of things are happening more and more just because sellers' expectations are out of whack. Like, they're at the golf course hearing stories of people who've sold for, really, really high prices, and they think that they should be able to get it too. And it seems like none of them ever sit down and actually do the math of what someone would be able to afford, which is not the mistake you would make as a business owner if you signed up for Exit Ready, because you would have a much clearer idea of what kind of journey the buyer is going through. In fact, there is a tool in Exit Ready that we put together, which actually shows you as a seller the buyer's journey one step at a time of how they go about doing their search, what their fears are, what their anxieties are, what they're looking for, and how a proactive seller would best be able to take advantage of that by providing the buyer what they're looking for, right? And so, again, when you're selling a business, it's all about any other kind of sale, whether you're selling a cup of coffee at your cafe or you're selling a big piece of machinery from your factory, whatever it is you sell as a business owner, thinking about the customer is important. And when you're trying to sell a business, thinking about the buyer and their needs and what they want and what their aspirations, hopes, dreams are, et cetera, is going to be really important in helping to make sure you get your deal done. Um, in order for you to sell your business, you need a buyer, and you have to bring that buyer through the journey and deal with all of their fears and concerns and show them that they're making the right choice. And that is in great part what you will learn how to do if you sign up for the Exit Ready program that you can find over at howtosellmyownbusiness.com. And with that, I'll say thank you very much, everybody. It's been very busy around here. We've been wrapping up all kinds of big projects. Just I've been trying to get things off my plate in advance of a little vacation break that I want to do. But it just feels like I've been juggling a bunch of balls and having this whole list of things that are kind of like being put to bed and being made available for you guys feels great. And it would be wonderful to meet some of you either in Texas or out in Vancouver. And if it's a hit, it'll become a regular thing that I do. I used to do things like this pre-COVID, and then with all of the shutdowns and everything, I got it. It fell off of my to-do list. And after going to a couple of conferences this summer, I just realized, hey, you know what? I really want to get back to that face-to-face kind of interaction with people. It's a whole different vibe, and I think that the opportunities for aha moments and real connections, insights, and growth is really there, especially when we've got 4 or 6 people who are together, all part of the process of examining somebody's plan and helping them to really define what their goals and pathways should be. And that's the advantage of sort of a mastermind session. It's we're going to use what are called parallel thinking techniques, which have proven to be very successful across all kinds of groups like these. And it should be a lot of fun. Anyway, we'll see you later, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
So, how can you learn more about buying, selling, financing, and managing small and medium sized businesses? Easy. Go over to my blog site, davidcbarnett.com, where you can learn more about me and how I work with my clients. You can learn more about my books and courses that I've prepared for you. You can find out how to subscribe to my email list, the YouTube playlists, and more. There's literally hundreds of hours of content there, all for free, and I'd love for you to be my guest. Special thanks go to Mark Willis at Lake Growth Financial, today's video sponsor. Mark helps people better manage their personal and business finances through the Bank on Yourself insurance strategy. This is something I've done personally and I've seen others use it successfully for years. Go to newbankingsolution.com to find all the interviews I've done with Mark and learn more about the advantages of these programs. While there, sign up for a free consultation to learn what this solution might look like for you.